Good afternoon. Sadly, we extend our deepest condolences to the family, the friends of the late Maestro Richard Smallwood, who passed away on December 30th of 2025. It was our pleasure and our honor to have interviewed him back in January of 2021. And we had a very candid conversation as it related to suicide, depression, anxiety. And we talked about his life, his mother, his family, and some deep regrets that he had as it related to sharing his story about. Um, I'm sorry, this is just difficult. Um, But we got an opportunity to see another side of him. The title of this particular interview was called Leading While Bleeding. And his manager told me afterwards that he had not had anyone interview Richard the way that I had, and nor had he seen him be so transparent as he was on Rolling on the Road. So we're grateful for that. There were so many comments from that time, and even got a new comment today from a Black woman who's a therapist that said that this conversation is greatly needed within our community. And so we are definitely going to have more conversations, candid conversations like this. So please stay until the very end of our interview because he is sitting at his piano in his home in Maryland the whole time. And at the end, he plays and he sings. So you're going to want to stay and see the whole thing. And thank you so much for tuning into Rolling on the Road. Oh my goodness. Good afternoon. And my name is Dr. Kimberly Barrington, and you are rolling with the doc today. Thank you, Beth. I want to say thank you to the Deaf and Hard of Hearing for rolling with us since May 7th of 2020. We're so excited. I know you all looking. I know you can sing. Yeah, there he is right there. How excited am I today to have the Grammy Award winner, mm, Dove winner, the maestro, the writer of Total Praise. He is the praise and worship leader. How many of us have gone through, got through on so many songs that he has written? Yes. And some of us have been background singers. So but today we are talking to Richard Smallwood, the man. We're going to talk about leading while bleeding. Regardless of what your platform is and how you lead, we can all identify with those times in our lives where we were hemorrhaging on the inside, and yet we still had to come and bring our A game and give all that we have. And then when we go back home, we go to that dark place and say, God, can you please help me? I just delivered 10,000 folks. I just delivered 5,000 folks. Maybe you have 50, maybe you have 5. But regardless of the number, you were leading while you were bleeding. Yes. Come on, let's talk about it because we don't have a whole lot of time. So we just going to get to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
Wow. So I would have to say, my first thing is, as you can see, we had the conversation in our little green room that I am in a wheelchair in the disability community. They have those who have been born with disabilities and those who have acquired a disability. However, and then they like to divide it up into, a visible disability and an invisible. I don't like the word invisible because it connotates that something is not there. When we talk about an invisible friend or a ghost, that means that something is not there. I like to say imperceivable. And I struggled with that imperceivable demon of a disability of depression. I still, you can kind of see the mark right here from where I'm done, I'm tired. Went to slip my wrist. Somebody bandaged it up and I just was like, I'm ready to be done with this. And it's amazing how I was told, girl, you're gonna be all right. We just gonna pray you through. Come on now, girl, go on a 21-day fast. You'll be all right. And let's get to going because we have ministry to do and we don't have time for that. Yeah. And it was amazing that once I had my stroke and ended up in a wheelchair, that all of a sudden people took notice and it was like, oh my gosh, we got a person, we have to do something about this. I said, but I was just as crippled on the inside. And I said, and you blew me off. I said, this right here, I said, is just an outward testimony of what God has done on the inside.
Amen.
I said, because on the inside, I'm healed. While you running around here still crippled, and paralyzed by your fear or paralyzed by the anxiety that comes with the depression and wanting to hide, behind life and ministry and our platforms. What was the first thing that you said when you acknowledged your truth?
I think it was just admitting something that I had always known. I suffered with anxiety from a child. And the depression came later. And I remember a really good friend of mine was depressed and I was trying to get him help. And I went on the internet.
I'm laughing with you, not at you.
Right.
Look, somebody else, it's your problem, but I'm gonna help you, brother.
But I had not acknowledged it. I had not admitted it. And I remember reading on the internet, they gave the symptoms of people who were depressed, and I had every one of them.
Wow.
And I was like, this is a problem, But, there were a couple of things that happened in my life that sent me to therapy. And once I got to therapy, I was immediately diagnosed with depression and anxiety, And of course, like you and like so many other church people, I was always told, you go to the altar and you pray, you roll around a little bit. Right.
Get them hands up.
Right, get them hands. But the thing is that people don't understand that depression is a sickness, it's an illness, just like a physical illness. And God has put ministers, psychiatrists, doctors, therapists here to help us with those problems and help us get through it. So there's nothing wrong with getting help. I said, sometimes you need a prayer and a pill.
That's our PPE kit.
Absolutely.
You got that PPE kit, some prayer and a pill.
And it was a very difficult journey because, as you said earlier, people were responding to the songs that I wrote and told me how I helped them, how I brought them to this situation and that situation. And after concerts, people would be giving me all these wonderful testimonies that were really encouraging. But then I'd go back to the hotel room and it just like hit me, right in the forehead, So it took a while to really, acknowledge it. And then once I acknowledged it, I realized, listen, Richard, God has given you a platform, through your music So through this platform, you can help others, because it's such a people don't talk about it.
No.
Especially in the Black community and in the Black church. You know, it's a stigma. So I'm like, since I've got this, maybe I can help somebody else with it. So that's when I really decided not only to write the book, but I decided to go out and start doing workshops and talk about it to church people and just let people know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, just like I have hypertension, I'm not ashamed of it. I have hypertension, so I take a pill for it. It's the same.
It's amazing what we consider. Again, we come from the same church community, the same religious community, and it's interesting that it's okay to have the sugar.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got to put a "the" in front of everything, so that makes it for real.
Yeah.
I got the high blood pressure. I got I got the depressions. I got the
right.
And it's just like what we do with sin. We have certain sins that we think are okay,
right,
and that they are more palatable to our own psyche. They're more palatable to have that conversation in church, or maybe even to preach about. But some sins, that's a no. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to touch it. And God thinks that's something separate. Absolutely not.
Right.
Sin is sin.
It's sin. Yeah.
It just is. So sickness is sickness. Illness is illness. And I think that one of the pieces that we forget, especially those who are Bible scholars, Saul had depression.
Mm-hmm.
God gave Saul depression.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I'm sorry for the listening audience, it's in your Bible if you read it. And if you look up here, I think I have every version that they have of the Bible up here behind me. And it all reads the same. And the more, I want to say more watered down, but it's not so much watered down, but the more close to the human vernacular, it just tells it what it is. You got depression.
Absolutely.
And they don't sugarcoat it as much. It's not hid behind the Greek, the Latin, and the Hebrew. It just says it straight up.
It is what it is. Yeah.
And so we seem to forget. And when I heard about your book, I said, wow, he gets to have it on both ends, because God gave Saul the spirit of depression. However, he sent David, who was the chief musician, to come in and perform his healing tone.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all need to read your Bible. You need to study.
Absolutely.
And so what became your healing tune?
I think it has been certainly prayer. And it certainly has been my therapy. My therapy has been, there's so many things that happen to us when we were children that if you don't deal with it,
yes,
as you get older, it does not go away. It gets worse. So it made me deal with some things that happened, when I was a kid, the anxiety that I had as a kid, the fear I had as a kid, and it just sort of dissected what I was made of and how it came to be. And a lot of those things, when you become an adult, you sort of carry over. You say, why do I act that way? And it all stems back from things that happened to you when you were younger, And so my therapy and my relationship with the Lord has been the best. I mean, I never knew that therapy could be so healing. I had no idea. Because, Black folk, you don't go to no therapist or psychiatrist.
I do. I have a standing appointment.
Oh, I do too. But that's the mindset. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, they would hide, people who had mental problems in the attic down south. You didn't see them.
Yes.
So, I think between my therapy and between my relationship with the Lord, as well as being able to witness and to really talk about it to people who are suffering. That's healing to me, to know that I have something that I can say to people that will help them, because it's so widespread. I mean, it's
Yes.
it's like a pandemic almost. I mean, it really is. It's very widespread, you know. So that gives me comfort. It gives me a sense of healing when I can see the recognition in other people's faces when I talk about it and say, "Oh, you deal with that too? You deal with that?
Yeah.
Well, what should I do?" You know,
Yes.
and then I can talk about therapy. I can talk about the whole, you know, the whole 9 yards. So it's been a journey, you know. It's been a journey, an interesting one.
I have a friend, and she's gonna be like, "What?" Her name is Dr. Napanji Thomas, and she is the first African American that I know of that is degreed in psychology and psychiatry, and she created a trauma institute. And that is her specialty, is to deal with the traumas that we have experienced.
Right.
I believe that as a whole, African Americans were traumatized from the time that they was ripped from their motherland,
Absolutely.
brought here. I mean, and many did not make it on that boat, but the ones that made it, to be brought here, stripped down, auctioned off, divided by color, you know, divided by what they could contribute. I mean, there has been a historical, systematic, I want to use the word infused depression upon us.
Yeah.
It was infused so that it became a part of our makeup of who we were.
Part of our DNA, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then as we began to have children, they were born into that depression.
Yes.
They even have a whole era of time named the Depression era.
Right.
And we don't think about things like that it has been infused into the fabric of our very life, our lifestyle, our communities. And until it's the Band-Aid of ignorance is ripped off, you know, to say, look, this has been with us for a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The world gave it a whole name, gave it a whole era, a whole time span. And so I guess I don't understand why we try to hide when there's a whole era that has been named depression. What are your thoughts about that? Have you even thought about it that way?
Well, you know, there, you know, in the African American community historically, there's just certain things we don't talk about. There's certain things like, you know, when my mother's mother had cancer, that was something you didn't talk about back then in the 20s and the 30s and stuff like that. That was like something like a scarlet letter or something like that. It was just something you did. So I think we've had a number of things in our community that we just, well, if we don't talk about it, it'll go away, but it doesn't go away, you know? And I think that when you see all the different suicides that are going on from the pulpit to the back door, you know, we've got to say, okay, something is wrong here. You know, something is wrong. We're dealing with something. And as you said, I believe a lot of it has to do with our DNA. You know, the stuff that we endured, our forefathers endured, you know, I think it's been passed down genetically as well, you know. I think my mother, when she was carrying me, went through a really difficult time emotionally. And I think I picked up some of that even as a fetus, you know, because, you know, we're spirits. We forget that this is just a body. We're spirits first, housed in a body. And I believe spiritually, a lot of things affect us, you know? And so I think for me, And sometimes I still have, bad days, but I've learned how to cope. I've learned how to deal with it. I've been on medication for probably about 15 years, maybe 12 years, something like that. And thank God for it. I've come so close to taking my life. I mean, so close. And I got to the point where I was like, oh, I don't need this medication no more because I was feeling all right. I'll be fine. So I stopped taking it for about 5 years. And little by little in increments, this depression started creeping back up. And before I knew it, it had absolutely consumed me. And I was trying to think of painless ways to take myself out. I began to look on the internet at a lot of suicide videos. I just became consumed by it. And I remember I Googled, how can you take your life painlessly on my computer? And the suicide hotline came up on my screen. And that just sort of jarred me. And I ran to the phone and called my therapist. She said, get to your doctor immediately. Went to my doctor, the next day. And when I walked in, he was like, Richard, what's wrong with you? I was like, well, I'm not doing well. So he took my blood pressure. He said, your blood pressure is sky high. Why is it sky high? And I just said, because I don't care. I just broke down and started crying, So that's when he got me help. He sent me to a new psychiatrist who's a great, great guy, Christian young man. And that's how I started getting myself together again. But you have to do what you need to do to live with it.
I would like to. Bronzia Williams says, "Thank you, Lord, that you are still with us. May I encourage you, and I am happy that you were successful in pursuing and not pursuing an end of your life." So we are definitely grateful. We're thankful to Katrina Springer. And she says that we need to allow people to be transparent, listen to them. And she says we need to be more inclusive to people who are in a depressive mind state. We have Shayna, who is close to you. She is in Bel Air, Maryland. And hey, Shayna. Shayna says, yep. She said, knock, knock, knock. Hold on. Took that horn. Yes. She said that if we don't get help, that the cycle will repeat itself. I know for me, I was on lithium. I mean, that's how bad the depression was for me. And I remember not being able to even come out of my room.
Oh, yeah.
And it had to be completely dark. Yeah. Every blanket had covered all the windows of my home. I had a 4-bedroom, bi-level home that had just been built. I should be happy, just elated. And I was just so depressed. And all of the windows, so if I came out of the bedroom to even go into the kitchen, all the windows in there had to be covered because I couldn't stand the light. And I felt so bad for my children that they had to see me in this state. And, I did the best that I could. But the medication it made me feel so horrible, but I knew that I needed it. And I was like, I just don't know where else to go or what to do. And I am a United States Navy veteran, and I've never thought to go to the base and say, hey, I'm experiencing this, and is there something I can do, and can I get some help? It wasn't until, did you hear how many years it took me?
I understand.
Okay, we're being
transparent. It's a process. Yeah.
We're being transparent. It probably took me 15 years to finally come to the VA. And when they asked the question, are you safe? Do you feel okay? Are you depressed? Are you experiencing any anxiety? I just broke down crying.
I get it.
I was like, oh, okay. For my tissue.
I understand. I definitely understand.
You know what?
I definitely understand. I understand so well.
I had to tell the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. I'm a crybaby, but
Listen, I
but
can't
I'm
take the tears I've cried. You know, through the whole process. You know, but like I said, I'm just I'm glad that we're becoming more vocal about it.
yeah.
And programs such as yours, and I just saw something. I saw Courtney Vance was on TV, the actor, Angela Bassett's husband, earlier talking about his mental health issues and going through therapy. I mean, there's so many people that are dealing with it, but I'm just glad now that people are starting to be more free to talk about it. And
Because everyone else is experiencing. Again, we're back to America has said it's okay because they've given it a name. We're in a pandemic. So included in the pandemic, you get to experience the following things. And so wherever you find yourself, just know that we're all together. We're with you.
absolutely.
And it sounds almost condescending and placating. However, you need to get it, get it. If
Yeah.
the door is open, run through, walk through, or be like me, roll through.
Knock the door down. Yes.
Just to do what you need to do to get in the door.
Yeah.
And I love it. And one of the things that I felt that you said was so important, it was some of that stuff that had been unresolved from my childhood.
Yeah.
That I had been pulling along. You know, it's almost like Linus and his blankets.
Yeah.
Is that we have those things that we hold on to because we feel like this makes me who I am.
Right.
And so it's got to be a part of me. I can't let this go because I can't be me without this piece. But guess what? I feel so liberated. I feel like I can get up and walk for real when I let those things go. So I love it because this chair just gives me an opportunity to make others feel better, to come and talk. Because it's like, she crippled. So yeah, I can say whatever to her. But guess what? I'm healed on the inside.
Right.
You're just seeing on the outside what used to be on the inside of me.
Absolutely.
Because, she was popping and clicking with 6-inch heels on, had weave all down her back. And, I was like, hello. Hey, girl. But was so broken, going home, like, I can't move, I can't function, but God.
But God. Absolutely.
So I do want to take just a second. The time is 4:26, and I want to be respectful of your time. So the time is now 4:26. I want to say thank you so much to the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, who has been rolling with us since May 7th of 2020. I am Dr. Kimberly Barrington. You're with 100 Shades of Disability, living beyond the human condition. And today, my guest is the Maestro. Yes, it is. It's him for real. He just got that pandemic hair. So we see he got that ball cap.
Oh, yeah, we got the pandemic hair for real.
He got pandemic hair. He got on a ball cap, But it is him. There it is. The light keeps coming up. So when the light comes up, you'll see that it's him. It's a little dark right now. I know I can tell. But we are with the Maestro, and we are having a candid conversation about leading while bleeding. And the way that we are hemorrhaging is depression and anxiety is what we're talking about today. And, it's cute right now because everyone is experiencing some sort of depression because we're in a pandemic and we have to socially distance, and I can't come and give you a hug and a kiss, and he can't put on a concert, but this is real.
It's real.
It's real, and it can be debilitating. It can cause physical symptoms in your body, and trust. It can give you headaches, from regular headaches to migraines. It can cause upset stomach, heart palpitations, your arms ache, your joints ache,
Yes.
You know, you don't understand why your feet hurt. And there's no apparent reason. Maybe you're the right weight that you need to be, but you don't understand why your body's hurting. It will manifest into physical symptoms. I love to say people will probably tell you, oh, that's just one of them invisible disabilities. It's not real. Oh, it is real. It is just imperceivable to the natural eye. But trust and believe it will manifest itself and it will become physical and it will become debilitating if you do not take care of it. So I would like to say today, if you are experiencing depression, thoughts of suicide, please call the 1-800 hotline for suicide. Please call your physician, call a friend. If you're too embarrassed, call a friend. Use a fake name, whatever you need to do, but please just do it. If you're in the Detroit area, you can catch up with Dr. Napangi Thomas. She is a traumatologist, deal with some of those things that you may have experienced. If you are a veteran like myself, there is a 1-800 number that you can call. The VA will receive you. They will help you. I'm here in the Michigan area. So there are several. You can dial 1-800 827-1000, and they will come right on and they will say, hey, if this is an emergency, you feel like you need to commit suicide, they will connect with you immediately. So we do want to let you know there is help. We love you. Hey, you can inbox me. I'll look you up. Now we'll have a little conversation, but you're gonna go get some help. And maybe you might need medication.
That's
and
right.
It's okay to take medication.
It's okay. It's okay. It really is.
Because we have so many pastors now, you know, with churches that are closed,
Yes.
that are experiencing depression, have been committing suicide.
Yes.
So, hey, reach out to your brothers.
And the pandemic has made it even worse. Even if you didn't have any problems before the pandemic started, you know, being in this situation, I haven't seen my family in almost a year. That's killing me right. And they live right here, you know. You know, the loneliness, the whole thing that goes along with this pandemic is rough on everybody.
It is.
So even if it's not an ongoing thing, even if it's just going on during this season that we're in, these 2020 and 2021, you still can reach out and get help. Get help. That's the most important thing. Don't be silent about it. Don't say, if I don't think about it, it'll go away, because it won't.
No.
The older I got, the worse it got. You know? So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out, because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of situations out there, people out there that will help you get through it.
They will. Yeah. So my appointment is January 29th at 1400 for all those who want no military time. That's at 2:00 with my psychologist at the VA, and we do